Here we are, everybody. It's finally happening. This is Dragon Ball GT versus Battle of Gods. We had a lot of hype for this episode. We posted this about a month ago, and this is the day. We will be talking about the two major sequels to Dragon Ball Z, and which one is the superior one. I'm aware that Battle of Gods is officially canon, but in terms of quality, we're going to ignore that fact and see what's better. Ugh. Sorry about that. Another ad popped up. All right. Well, let's get going, and let's start with Wes, who is supporting Dragon Ball GT.
Yeah. Uh, Hello everyone. I'm not supporting Dragon Ball GT. I'm Battle of Gods.
Battle of Gods. Sorry about that. Yeah. Thomas is GT. Sorry about that. I had this big ad go off, and I had my headphones on, and it was loud, so just shocked me. And I was like, oh, just gotta give the mic to somebody. Because that's how I'm listening to everything. I forgot that my whole computer's on. It was some just stupid air freshener commercial. But yes, your Battle of Gods today, and Thomas is GT. Stupid ad. All right. Yep.
There you go.
Let's see what you got.
I'm supporting on the right side now. Battle of Gods for me was superior to GT because a few reasons. One, it seemed to include the cast a little bit more than GT did. I mean, there's jokes going around saying that GT means Goku time because, let's face it, it basically was. I mean, Battle of Gods wasn't too much better, but at least there was a storyline around Vegeta a little bit. It included people like King Kai. We had Gotenks, which was cool. We had Tien actually do something for about a second. And we had two completely new ideas that we'd never seen before with real proper gods. I mean, GT, we had Baby, which was, okay, that was pretty original. But then we had androids and fusion again, and it was great. We had more dragons, we've not seen that before. We had the Tuffles thing again. I was like, yeah, okay. And it just seemed to me that design-wise, I will agree that Super Saiyan 4 looks so much better than Super Saiyan God, because Super Saiyan God does look a little bit like a glorified Kaioken. But Super Saiyan God also, to me, it's a bit more mysterious. It's a bit more, because we haven't really been given a scope of its power as well. We just know that it's somewhere around Beerus, who annihilated everyone. So, and the fact that it incorporated, it was more comedic, but it was back to Toriyama being Toriyama. He was doing this. It felt like he was doing this because he wanted to, rather than because the fans demanded it. It was like, this is something Toriyama wants to do. He's not forced into this, or influenced into this by the people. So that's why Battle of Gods is supreme. Also, Frieza's coming back. Ginyu Force is coming back, or they better do.
They better. Okay. Well, let's because we're doing opening statements at this point.
Yeah.
Thomas, let's see what you got on the side of GT.
All right. I think GT gets crap way too much. Like the most common thing I've heard is that it's not canon. Well, it's still Dragon Ball, and they stood around the whole idea of corrupt wishes, like especially for the Dragon Balls, like especially with the first part of the series. I like GT because some aspects of the series I like them flying around in space looking for the Dragon Balls. That was more towards the filler, for when they were getting Planet Namek, because they needed the Dragon Balls. Also, it stuck around the idea that there were still people out there that wanted to beat up, they wanted to get rid of the Saiyans. Although that's been done over and over and over.
Okay, so you mean like how they visited the Tuffles?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess any more points to add?
My point is that if they really wanted to make all about the Tuffles, they should have given Baby a bigger role as a villain, because he didn't it just wasn't. He didn't really do much as a villain, except just take over everybody.
Well, what do you think of? I mean, compared to Super 17 and Omega Shenron, I would say that Baby probably did more, in my opinion. Like at least in the Baby Saga, the others were a little more involved. But again, that's so you feel that the villains were a little more fleshed out. They tried to incorporate a little more Dragon Ball in like the whole Lost episodes era and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess now we go back to Wes for some refutes.
GT to me felt like it wasn't, it wasn't written by Toriyama. We all know that. It felt like they just ripped some segments off Dragon Ball, the things that came before it. I mean, we've got them looking for Dragon Balls in space. Well, we did that with Namek, as Thomas pointed out. We've got the regenerating characters. Oh, well, we've never seen that before. Oh, yeah, we have. Boo and Cell. Oh, we've got a really powerful android. Oh, yeah, you mean like the original 17 and 18 and, well, 16 to some degree? And the fact that we had we finished it all off with a spirit bomb. Well, what series do we all know finished with a spirit bomb? Oh yeah, Dragon Ball Z. It's I will say they were quite creative sometimes, yeah, but they stole a lot of major plot and plot points from Z. Well, to me, it felt like that anyway. And like while I admit the Shadow Dragons were cool, they didn't feel like dragons. What even was, I think it was Naturon Shenron? He was a mole, if anything. It's not a dragon. And Shenron, I think it's in Chinese. Shenron literally means dragon, so, I don't know. Also, my voice broke there. It's embarrassing.
No problem. Okay, so I guess we'll give it back to Tom for the refutation of those points. And what do you think about that?
Well, I think they didn't really steal plot. They were inspired by it. Like General Rildo, General Rildo, like one of the villains. I'd say he was inspired by Cooler, like Metacooler mostly. It's like a lot of it was centered around like being inspired from Metacooler. The Spirit Bomb, yes, it did end with the Spirit Bomb. I think that was pointing to the Spirit Bomb as being the end-all, be-all, like a last resort, because everything they've done didn't work. As for the dragons, they, I think they should have worked on the dragons more, like make them more like dragons, because yeah, some weren't really dragons.
Okay, with flaws, if we're talking flaws here, how do you feel that Battle of Gods dropped the ball, Tom?
Let me see. Gohan for one. Like with him in the Buu saga, he was the strongest, but in Battle of the Gods, he got fodderized like everybody else except Goku. Like I thought it was funny that only Goku and Vegeta were able to like do anything to Lord Beerus, while Gohan couldn't lay a hand on him. There's no way that they could just get that much stronger than Mr. Gohan in that amount of time.
Well, I mean, however, I don't know if that's a good complaint, because they did the exact same thing for GT. Gohan was basically the exact same kind of thing with him. If anything, in Battle of Gods, they at least kept Mystic. I guess I'm sorry for taking the floor a little bit here, but kind of as a neutral party here, but both are kind of guilty of that.
Oh yeah,
Gohan was just kind of ruined.
Battle of Gods, I'm not going to say it was perfect. I mean, Battle of Gods fucked up in a few ways, namely the dragon dragon not granting the right amount of wishes anymore. I don't know if they just forgot about that or Shenron just changed his mind or something. He was like, "Yeah, you get one wish. I don't even care." You know. Um,
Yeah.
I'm not saying Battle of Gods was perfect. I'm just saying it was less horrible than GT. There's a reason that they included Pilaf in that movie, and it's because they're trying to retcon the whole thing. Pilaf
Yeah.
was old in GT, and then they put it's more than coincidence that they make him young as fuck. I mean, young in Battle of Gods. It's because it feels like Akira Toriyama's trying to just brush GT under the rug a bit. Like, oh, we got Super Saiyan God. I mean, who's Super Saiyan 4? Who needs that? Am I right? I mean, come on, guys.
Yeah.
The fact that he introduced like 2 wholly new characters, which would have been completely relevant if they existed earlier in GT.
Yeah.
He introduced some revolutionary stuff in Battle of Gods, which made me feel that Akira Toriyama was like, this is what's happening. This is the real deal, guys.
Do you
Pay
feel
attention.
that Akira Toriyama is still the safest way to go for Dragon Ball Z at this point, considering his track history of the
No,
last 10 years?
no. He forgot what Super Saiyan 3 looks like. Hello? Was it that?
Yeah.
Was it? He forgot Super Saiyan 2 or Super Saiyan 3.
Yeah, he mixed them both up.
Yeah.
My
His
my big,
apprentice.
my big concern is I think after Frieza happened, you incrementally saw Akira just stop caring, and
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
by the time that we reached Battle of Gods, he had 18 years hiatus, give or take, and all he didn't. I don't believe Yo Son Goku and Friends Return was his work. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but I believe he had nothing to really do with that. Maybe aside from giving an okay. Here he had a multi-million-dollar anime movie coming out, and what does he do about that? He doesn't watch his own series. He just kind of forgets a bunch of things. He forgets.
Yeah.
I mean, he forgot. He forgot Super Saiyan 2. He forgot the dragon on Namek, and do they state that his planet was restored completely, or do they?
No, I don't think they do.
No, the Kinkai planet, and that one, I think Whis in the Funimation dub alludes to it, but he it's
He
still
alludes to it when
ambiguous.
Beerus did it.
Right. So
Beerus mentions when Whis mentions when Beerus destroyed King Kai's planet, which is why it's small. He never says that when Cell destroyed it.
right, and
I don't think.
just things like that. Like I was worried because there were things established later in the series post Cell that Akira just isn't really acknowledging as much. Like the dragon was again the dragon granting one wish as opposed to two. It's not a big thing, but
Yep.
it's indicative of the level of quality of the writing there. I want these movies to work inside the canon, and
Yeah.
another plot hole issue was when in the preview trailer when Gohan charges he charges Beerus in the trailer, and in the trailer he's Super Saiyan, but then when people started complaining
Yeah.
about that, they said, oh, we were just doing an animation test and he'll be Mystic. No, you guys forgot, and that was one of the big problems we
Yeah.
had with GT in the first place. So I have a hard time really buying that was going to rectify that issue. Both sides are guilty of ruining Gohan. Both wasted his.
I think how Dragon Ball Z really should go now. They should let. I don't know if many people know about this. They should let a man called Takao Koyama. I reckon he should be the one to carry it on. Now, Takao Koyama is the. I'm trying to remember now. I think he's the screenwriter for pretty much all the Dragon Ball Z movies, including the Broly ones, the cooler ones, and I believe Fusion Reborn. And he did a good fucking job. He did an amazing job. Like, I think, and he remembered what Super Saiyan 2 and 3 looked like. So I think that they should let him do it because he seems to be doing a better job of Toriyama, who wanted to stop after Frieza, and it seems a little bit, more of a coincidence that it's Frieza going back next movie too.
Hmm. Uh, I mean, I don't know if Akira is the way to go anymore. I mean, the thing with comic book writers and a lot of DBZ fans complain about this about comics is that the original creator a lot of times doesn't write later stories. To be honest, it's not a bad thing.
Nah,
You're using the same dude when someone's heart is just not in it anymore. Do we really want to see them force
kill it.
themselves to continue to write? Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know. I mean, some of my
I
favorite
mean,
stories of
imagine.
that. Hmm? What?
I was going to say, yeah, I know this is a bit of a dodgy topic, but they only had a limited budget and a limited time for the first Broly movie. But imagine if they had the time to do an entire series with Takao Koyama writing that. Without the sudden plot twist ending of Goku absorbing energy. Spoiler alert. Imagine if they had an entire series for Broly. That would have been amazing, in my opinion. And the Broly movie had better writing than parts of the Buu saga. To me, I'm not really big on the Buu saga, so I'm a bit
Hmm.
biased. But you know, if it wasn't restricted to like all the cooler movies, if they weren't restricted to a movie, they really could have done something great with that. But instead, they had to stick to Toriyama being the only writer. You know, and he doesn't. It feels like he doesn't really care that much to me.
Yeah, and that's part of why when I hear the argument about Battle of Gods being canon, I have a hard time I have a hard time really buying it in the first place because by the time
Yeah.
GT came out, Akira really didn't have much passion to continue his own series in the first place. So if leaving it up to Toei actually wasn't a bad idea. With
Yeah, it was. They killed Piccolo.
yeah, uh, yeah, I guess. But that being said, GT still yes. I mean, I could go on. It's got plenty of flaws, but like, right now Tom's kind of working with his mic briefly, so I think this is a point he'll probably be making too, which is yeah. Even though it has its flaws, the new movie I'm a little concerned about where it's heading because while Akira's ideas are radical for the series, like the whole God thing, the 12 other gods, all that stuff at the end of the movie that was revealed, um, how much of the canon is he going to butcher as he takes us along for this ride? It was one film, and he already changed the landscape of Dragon Ball Z tremendously just in one movie.
Yeah.
So, what's to say if the next movie completely forgets a bunch of other things. We're already seeing Super Saiyan Gohan, and we're also like, if you look at the trailers, somehow Master Roshi is fighting alongside like or all the heroes. He's somehow
Somehow he's
relevant, and on top
flying
of it,
too.
what? Yeah, why in the heck would he be relevant? And why would soldiers of Frieza's army be a threat to Gohan and Piccolo and all these guys?
Yeah, I mean they weren't even a threat in the Namek saga. Krillin and Kid Gohan took him out. I think with this movie, I think what I think what Toriyama's trying to do is relive the olden days. Um, I think that's what he's trying to do. I mean, Gohan's got similar hair to what he had. Roshi is back in action. Krillin's bald again. You know, it just seems he's trying to go back to the good old days of Dragon Ball. And like we're saying about him butchering the canon as well. Boo was no longer created by Bibbidi. He always existed or something. And um like I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, Beerus was apparently weaker than Boo because the guy that sealed Old Kai was a character weaker than Boo, and then it was confirmed that Beerus was the one that did it. He doesn't
Yeah,
care what
stuff
he
like
does
that.
with any of the plot. But if you notice, it's all plot after the Frieza saga that's getting messed up.
Yeah,
Nothing.
which is again, I'm a little worried about that.
Yeah.
We I think that the post Dragon Ball Z, like post Buu Saga, there's still stuff to write with. As much
Hmm.
as I'm happy Freeze is coming back for the most part, provided he's done right. The idea of like the concept of Frieza coming back still kind of boggles me a little bit. I'm a little concerned about what they're gonna do with him, like how you can make it relevant.
Yeah,
But I have a
apparently
whole
he's
video
trained.
dedicated to that. Huh?
But apparently, like
I think I'm losing you briefly here.
from what I've seen, apparently he just trains. Like he says, "Oh yeah, I'll do some training now too." I'm like, that's got to be one intense workout to go from weaker than Super Saiyan to stronger than Super Saiyan 3.
Sorry, I caught part of that. You were really breaking up for a second there.
Oh, sorry. I said from what
Wes?
I've read.
No, we're having some
Can
connection
you hear me?
issues, everybody. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Oh no.
All right, I can hear you now.
Um, from what I've read, okay, third time lucky. From what I've read, apparently Frieza just does training. He says, "I'll train like you," and then he somehow becomes this power. It's like that's got to be one crazy workout to get that strong.
Right,
And
right. Considering all the work Goku and all of them have put in already.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So Goku trained for 7 years in the Kai world. He trained in the hyperbolic time chamber, all these crazy things. But you're telling me that Frieza does some training in the other world. I mean, is this the first time someone of his race has done any? I'm hearing a lot of echoing. It's driving me nuts here. But is this the first time anyone of his race has ever done that? And if that's the case, what would happen if his father trained? Like, would that? I don't know. I feel it's a little bit
Yeah.
of a cop out. And as much as I'm happy Frieza's coming back, at least Dragon Ball GT, they didn't do any like overpowering like they did with Frieza. When Frieza showed up, yeah, they did do some training, but he still like had nothing on Goku, which is that's pretty understandable. So I think that for all we know, they might botch Frieza up so bad that he's going to be done worse than he was in GT.
GT did underpowering. They went the complete opposite way. Unless they were called Goku, and by the end of the series Vegeta, they underpowered everyone. I mean, Marjube, how relevant was he really?
Yeah,
He
I'll
was
admit
supposed
that
he was supposed to be something insane, and then he didn't really accomplish that much, I guess.
Mhm.
You know, and like we never saw adult Gotenks because he would have just not been strong enough. So it was like, well, great. Thanks for just shitting on the entire the entire reason of the Buu Saga existing, pretty much, is to introduce fusion.
Yeah. I remember there were problems there too. Like they made fusion almost irrelevant except for Gogeta. There was a line in the Omega fight where there was when Gogeta appeared, Gohan was like no Goten was like, Dad and Vegeta fused, and Gohan responds, yeah, but will it work? Goten then retorts, or then he responds saying, yeah, I don't see why not. Trunks and I did it when we were Super Saiyan 3s, plural. When did both those guys learn Super Saiyan 3? First of all. Second of all, if you could both go Super Saiyan 3 individually, why aren't you out there helping?
Yeah, yeah,
Ugh. Yeah, I agree there. That's both have their flaws. I think the GT, I kind of aside with Tom a little bit. The GT gets it gets kind of a bad rap. Battle of Gods, I mean, I'm excited for I liked at the end. I kind of adjusted to Super Saiyan God. I kind of got like a little more used to the design of it.
yeah.
Um,
The
so
Super Saiyan God design wasn't particularly awe-inspiring.
not initially, but
But again,
I'm kind of
he's going back to the way he was. A new power up and it's red. That's
it's
Kaioken.
temporary too.
Yeah,
Temporary, and it
exactly.
wears your body out.
Yeah,
And then once he uses that, now Super Saiyan 1's the way to go.
yeah, exactly. He's just reliving Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball's early Z, pre-Freezer Z.
He's doing what he knows. He's doing what he remembers the most. which I can't exactly blame him. The first 3 seasons of Dragon Ball Z were, in my opinion, the strongest writing. I don't see anybody else is really going to disagree there. That up to Frieza had the best writing. Frieza had, even though Z was really long with the filler, it had great pacing. The forms were a really good touch because it really dragged the battle out. It gave all the heroes their chance to shine.
Most importantly,
I understand.
it gave Captain Ginyu the best
Yeah,
character ever to appear.
Style over substance. He was always always big about that. So, but yeah. So we're getting we're getting some comments right now.
Oh damn.
So Tom is I know Tom's still here. Chris Soto he says he talks kind of slow, like he's being really careful with choice of words. And he says Wes, however, he holds nothing back in his opinions. That makes this definitely an interesting discussion.
I'm British, lad. We don't have restrictions.
So Tom, any luck on your end?
Yeah, I fixed the mic. Is it better?
It's still getting a pretty good amount of that hum, but it's not quite as loud. So yeah. So I know Wes and I have done a lot of talking. I suppose let's hear your thoughts on where this has been going.
At least with GT, it tried to go into the future. I mean, you see Trunks with Capsule Corp. You see Vegeta still training. It tried to go into the future, but it just didn't go well, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, I admit that. You can't really knock it for not trying. However, Battle of Gods is kind of playing it safe because it's taking place in more of a pre-established time. It's in between Oob showing up, so we know where it's going to end. We know who's going to be alive, or at least we know who's still going to be there 10 years in the future. Where GT wanted to take the end of the series and kind of boldly go in the future, I suppose. And is you still with us, Wes?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Just a quick one. Yo, Jimmy is messaging me right now.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I saw the comment.
Oh damn. Yo, Soto, you better be shaking your boots, boy.
That's what so Jimmy's telling Soto that. For those who are not aware, we unfortunately were not able to have our Superman versus Goku debate last time.
I would have see that one.
So unfortunately, we had to postpone it, and that Jimmy versus Soto was the two guys. That was the big matchup happening.
In the words of Jimmy, Dingo Snipe. That's the way it goes.
Well, I mean, in Chris's defense, Chris was the one there, so
exactly.
Burden of proof's on Jimmy.
Jimmy too scared. Jimmy too scared.
Don't let us down, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sorry to cut him there. I thought I'd throw that out there in the mix.
No problem. So again, if anyone has any comments, questions, that kind of a thing, please leave them. We will answer as many as we can possibly get our hands on. And this is again the topic of GT versus Dragon Ball Z. Let's keep moving forward with some new topics. How about power levels? Let's start with Wes here. Let's start with Wes here. How do you feel about the God thing? Do you believe that only gods can hurt gods?
No, come on now. Really? No, of course not. Only gods can sense other gods. It was shown in the Buu saga with Supreme Kai when only Piccolo could sense his power level. He could still be hurt. I mean, like, Buu isn't a god, and he messed everyone up. And it could be debated that Beerus was just testing Vegeta, but he rocked him. He rocked Beerus. He was surprised. I think God Ki is required to sense God Ki, not to hurt it. That's my opinion. I'm always right.
So, another question, kind of in that same vein. How high do you think Beerus is on the totem pole against GT characters? Do you think he beats Omega Shenron, or is he like kind of Super Saiyan God low or Super Saiyan 4 end kind of power, or beyond?
For me, impossible to tell. We haven't been given a scale. We haven't been given a scope in comparison. All we've seen from Beerus is that he one-hit KO'd Super Saiyan 3, and he didn't try against anyone else. That's not a good scale. How can we go off anything from that? In my
And because how do you think if like GT Goku showed up and took the place of Beerus, how would how do you think he would do against those heroes? Like if GT Goku showed up with the ability to go forward, would he be able to perform the same, maybe better?
He'd lose because only God Ki can hurt God Ki. Nah, I'm kidding.
If he were to fight the heroes and like basically was like Beerus, if he fought Goku and all them.
Are we using GT versions or yeah? I reckon Beerus would lose. I reckon I don't see Beerus beating them, to be honest.
Oh, I meant like I'm talking about like what if Super Saiyan 4 Goku showed up and instead of Beerus, like Goku was just the aggressor against the Z guys, would he do as good if not better?
That's a tough question. I can't. Damn. It's late, man. Don't blow my mind with this. I reckon.
Well, I mean, I could give my analysis of it if you have trouble with it.
Yeah, go for it. My mind has been blown.
Okay, so if GT Goku appeared to the Z Warriors, and he just he just wanted a good fight, like he wanted to showcase his abilities to the heroes. The King Kai battle I think would be exactly the same. If we're talking, if he can go, Super Saiyan 4. If we're talking like, especially if we're talking Shadow Dragon Saga, because Goku's had a couple Zenkais at this point. He's gotten a lot tougher. It's arguable, quite arguable if not fact, that base Goku in Z was, GT, sorry, in GT was as powerful as Super Saiyan 3 Goku in Z. So if you account Super Saiyan 1, which is a 50 times multiplier, he is 50 times, at least 50 times stronger in Super Saiyan than he is in Super Saiyan 3, which right there, that's like having, like, that would be like base Goku in Frieza Saga versus Super Saiyan Goku. I mean, base Goku was getting his butt kicked by half power Frieza pretty easily. So that's just in Super Saiyan. So now we got Super Saiyan 2, which is arguably 2 to 4 times more powerful than that. Then you have Super Saiyan 3, which is like 5 times more powerful than Super Saiyan 2. And then you have Super Saiyan 4, which is like 10 times Super Saiyan 3. So at that power level, I have a feeling that Goku would probably just one-shot him. Like GT Goku would just one-shot Z Goku. So I think he'd perform... I don't think he'd have much resistance. I think he'd do just as well as he would... I think he'd perform the same as Beerus, if not outperform him, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, in GT, Super Saiyan is no longer 50 times. It was stated in GT that when Goku went Super Saiyan, at one point, I think it was Rildo, he said he's 100 times stronger.
Yeah, 100. Right. But that could mean a few things. Then we have to start accounting for, like, how much Goku was holding back in base form, I think. Like, was he really powering up all the way? Like, was he really giving it all? And I don't know if he was or not. I kind of defer to the Daizenshu in that discrepancy, because when the Sigma Force was fighting him, they brought up that he was, like, when Rildo was examining him, he could tell that he was holding back the lion's share of his power.
Yeah, good point.
So I'm just going to stick to the 50 there. So I guess power level wise... Power level wise, I don't know. I think Beerus could indeed wipe out the GT universe, but I would safely say that I could probably see Super Saiyan 4 GT Goku probably holding his own, possibly beating him. But by the time Shadow Dragon shows up, he's broken his limits a bunch more times. And if you're talking Gogeta Super Saiyan 4, I don't buy that Godly Key stuff. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is absurd. And it's mind-boggling how strong he is.
Well, he toyed with this, like, he toyed with Omega Shenron. That's like the one dude in Dragon Ball you don't toy with.
Right. He is.
He moved.
End-all be-all villain.
Yeah, and Gogeta punched him in the face 3 times without Shenron even recognizing it.
Right. Which leads another question, another observation about GT. in GT, they did one thing that Battle of Gods has not even considered doing, which is GT tried to bring penalties to the Dragon Balls, which I felt was needed. Because without those penalties, we would have this plot device that would just be used indefinitely without any consequences, and they try to bring consequences to it, which, again, the series needed, because we had this wax-on, wax-off policy of problems with the Dragon Balls, and by the time the evil dragon showed up, it was like, you know what, we kind of need this, because without it, it's a loose end. There need to be like side effects to you abusing the power of the Dragon Balls, which they did. Where Battle of Gods, heck, they don't even know how the Dragon Balls work properly anymore.
Well, would you not say that King Piccolo getting eternal youth was a penalty of the Dragon Balls?
Well, no. What I think that what's happening with that is you get the reverse of the intention of those wishes. So that's why Nova was a good guy. So
No. I mean, the penalty for using the Dragon Balls was that in GT we had the evil dragons. I'm trying to say that the Dragon Balls themselves existing, the fact that people know that you can use them. The flip side is bad guys can make wishes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I suppose, but regardless of what you're doing, I'm viewing it as you're cheating nature.
Yeah.
Every single time you're just cheating nature out of to get an easy way out, regardless if it's via maliciousness or if it's via benevolence. You're still cheating nature, and there needs to be a penalty for it. And GT brought up a very good way to do it.
I'm trying to think of a way to come back from that one. I don't know, because the Dragon Balls technically they're a part of nature in a way. I mean, they were created by a sentient being. They're created by Kami or Mori, I believe. No, not Mori, Guru.
Yeah.
And they purposely, didn't use them. But the Dragon Ball, the way they work, you can't bring someone back from the life of old age or disease. You can only bring them back if they were killed unnaturally. You know what I mean? They're not really about messing with nature. They're messing with things that other things have caused, if that makes sense,
Right, but when it comes to evilness, like if there's like a giant terrorist attack, in terms of the grand scheme of Mother Nature, that's just sentient beings fighting sentient beings, and Mother Earth doesn't care.
Well, yeah,
even if the planet's even if the planet's destroyed, it's kind of like that's still in the laws of nature because these are beings that are generating their own power doing it.
But then using the Dragon Balls is just sentient beings bringing sentient beings back.
But then you're breaking like the laws of death. Like you're cheapening death itself. You're warping. Like that's a constant. That's a universal constant of the I'm sending a link to somebody. It's a canon of the entire universe, and when you break those, there's got to be a reason. Like there's got to be a reaction. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction, and obviously in fiction they work around it. But that's such a big thing that it was becoming so boring that every problem that happened was just rectified by the Dragon Balls. It's kind of like, well, what if that's so simple? Then maybe we should look into why it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
And they did that. Not with this, where it's just like, like literally the reason. We need to figure out what Super Saiyan God is. Let's just ask the dragon.
Yeah, I agree. I agree that the Dragon Balls are a flawed plot point in themselves. They okay. The fact that the Dragon Radar exists is a big thing as well. It's not like they have to search for them as well. They just pick them up.
Right. Anyways, let's try to get the floor back to Thomas at this point. I'm sorry I have to keep getting him quiet. It's just there's just this hum that's going on with that mic, and it's just driving me up a wall. I'm gonna probably have to edit a lot of it out when I get to making a podcast version of it. So I know it'll be a little work for me, but it's just I don't know. Hopefully others don't hear as much, or my ears are just like they're just freaking out whenever I hear them. But yeah, man, let's give the floor for this one. The ideas about like the Dragon Ball uses, how they're abused, the existence of the Shadow Dragons, and I guess we're kind of on the topic of Dragon Balls at this point. You there, Tom?
Yeah.
All right. Did you have any thoughts on what I just brought up?
Yeah, I thought GT did a good job with the consequences of your actions bit with the Dragon Balls.
Mm-hmm.
Because I thought most of that with the Shadow Dragon. Let me see. Shadow Dragon era was with the was all the wishes from Z transferred over to GT.
Right.
Like the bad wishes.
And how the bad wishes. Even did some Dragon Ball there too with King Piccolo and the panties and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, the panties. That one still makes me laugh to this day. I'm like, well, okay, they're Dragon Balls. You can pretty much wish for anything, even immortality.
Okay. Yeah, right. I'm also kind of glad that there was another thing in GT that I didn't like, because GT wanted to become the canon answer to Z.
They tried.
It wanted to be canon.
They tried.
Yes, there was a big problem though. Like, a couple big problems. Number one was the hell sequence when we were watching like filler and movie villains like Cooler appearing, and it was just like, okay, I guess we are just super non-canon at this point. Yeah. Oh, we got a bunch of messages here. Let me go read a few. One to go. He says, yeah, the new 2015 movie feels like Akira going back to his olden days. True. Keith Acton, old buddy of ours, he says Super 17 was a cool twist on the fusion concept as well. Most times when GT rehashed something, it gave it an interesting twist. One to go
Super 17's a nerd, yo.
One to go says Battle of Gods voice acting was pretty great. The Z-San, Frieza was the main villain of Dragon Ball manga, and he's never been resurrected before except non-canon movies. I think that makes sense. He's returning in 2015.
I guess, yeah.
And then going on, One to go says makes better sense than Evil Goku. That was going around before the announcement. Yes, I agree.
Oh,
Evil Goku was very lame. Okay, One to go says, which version of Super Saiyan 4 are you guys going to use? Master Super Saiyan 4 at the end or beginning of the non-master version? That must have been earlier when we were talking about our speculation. I was talking about first appearance because we could gauge the Super Saiyan 3 thing. So answering that one, there you go. Sorry about the non-reply. I had to lower the bandwidth, so I had to cut the thing out. But anyways, continuing on with the next points. So with the... I think one of the big questions is with the 2015 movie coming out, that is going to really gauge if it's better than GT. Because right now with the Battle of Gods, I have to say that there are a lot of problems in Battle of Gods, especially for one movie that claims to be canon. But it introduces a lot of exciting things, so I'm willing to let those go. Also because the end of Battle of Gods was a nice twist for a change. We didn't see some like MacGuffin attack that wiped the hero out, or the villain out, sorry, with just an instant Dragon Fist or a Spear Bomb or something. It didn't end that way, and it was refreshing. And they also they brought some levity to the series, like when Whis was saying like Super Saiyan God, huh? That's kind of a big, elaborate title when he was talking about how gaudy it was, and it was like, okay. So Akira knows how to bring, again, there was some nice levity there. There wasn't as much with Dragon Ball GT. Dragon Ball GT just plowed ahead, and it tried to, like, force Dragon Ball references down your throat as opposed to actually bring some comedy. So
I felt like it was rushed.
Mm-hmm.
Like I felt like they were trying to do too much at once.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like what they were trying to do with GT, but it feels like they were trying to put so much into a series that it just kind of went all over the place.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Fair assessment. So I mean, I don't want to have to come down to this conclusion, but I guess a lot of this is going to have to be given up to the next movie, because then we're going to have enough canon to really tell.
To wait and see, yeah.
Yeah. Um, any thoughts on that assessment, Wes?
Sorry, I was moving my bed. Yeah, I think a lot of this is gonna have to be dependent on Sorry. Yeah, I agree with that. Let me collect my thoughts for a second there. I think the problem with the new movie being announced so shortly, though, you know, it it's coming out this year, right? I mean, we just had a Dragon Ball Z movie. It's a bit worrying at the speed that they released it. I mean, if it's going to be rushed, we all know that rushed products tend to be pretty terrible. I mean, if we look at, in a particularly notorious example, Sonic 06 or Sonic Boom, they suck balls. And if they rush this, I'm afraid this new movie is probably going to be a bit lame too. If they like, I could be wrong. I mean, I could like some products that have come out so short after the original have been kick-ass, like Five Nights at Freddy's 2. But on the whole, if it's in such a short period of time, it might have quite a few oversights or quite a few problems with it that will make it suck.
Okay.
You know?
I guess to kind of bring up a good aside to that, I have a feeling that this movie was a little more thought out than that. Reason I say this is we had you could tell in the writing of Battle of Gods that Akira was already writing ideas for the next movie. So I have a feeling a good part of the new movie was already conceived. So it really is more of a 2-year process as opposed to just the 1 year. And now we're just realizing Akira's ideas. And to be honest, with the rate they were making episodes back in the day, with how fast they had to do this by hand, and nowadays with the magic of computers and whatnot, I don't really think it would take that long to make a good movie. I think it's more about just writing, and I think a year is just fine for someone like Akira Toriyama. Again, my question is his level of dedication. We have another message here from Kells W6. He says that they introduced the Dragon Saga in GT after Super Saiyan God, it would make more sense because I feel it would take a god to destroy a god like Shenron. Interesting concept. I think it would balance this out quite well. Bills would kind of like be an entry level god, and Omega could literally, in the name alone, Omega. That is the end. That's finality. I like that concept. That's a good point.
And doesn't Shen mean god anyway? Which is why Kami used that name when he was posing in the body. He called himself Shen in the World Martial Arts Tournament with Piccolo Jr. in.
Man, really, Kami loves labeling himself as a god. He's got the name of God, Japanese name of God, and is Shen the Chinese name for God?
Yeah, I know. What an ego. I mean,
jeez, and he's not even that powerful.
Hey, come on now.
Come on, can you imagine, if the androids attacked, if Kami was the first line of defense? Not happening.
Oh boy. He'd try. Mafuba.
He would give it a shot. Yes, he would give it a shot.
Wait, isn't Kami immortal?
I don't.
From old age, I mean, not from death.
Yeah, I don't think he is.
Mafuba all day, sorted. Boo, Frieza, come on.
Yeah. Just keep doing the evil containment wave to everybody. No problem, Kells. No problem, Kells. Thanks for commenting, dude. And keep them coming, everybody. We'll address everything that comes our way, and we're more than happy. Come on, jump on in this, and we'll definitely get you involved. Yeah, go on, Wes.
I think the Mafuba only works on demons. I think that was partially addressed in that, though.
I mean, Piccolo wasn't really a demon, though.
Yeah, he kind of retconned that himself. Good point. At first, he's a demon, and if you're killed by Piccolo, your soul never goes to the afterlife. Just kidding. We made that whole shit up.
Yeah. He's a Namekian now, and whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I guess this is actually approaching the hour mark, I believe. Let's take a look. 46 minutes, pretty solid, not too bad. I guess I think we've addressed just about everything we can in the series. Personally, for villains, I felt, to be honest, if you look at it, the villains in GT aren't too bad. Baby's good because it addresses the origin of the Saiyans. He is a creation of the Tuffles. He is looking for revenge from a pre-established. Okay, one of my problems is a lot of the villains in GT are very kind of like they're so tied to Z that it lacks some originality. Like Baby or Tuffles. That was clever because it was you had to see the Tuffles, all that stuff. Okay, that was a little clever. I'll give him that. But Super 17, I felt was actually Kells has a good question here. He says, "Did the Super?" I was just about to go into Super 17. He says, "Did the Super 17 saga feel like a non-canon movie to you?" He says, "It did to me." Yes, I felt that it was a two-part movie, and it was not a very good one, to be honest. You just took a long forgotten sort of bad guy turned ally, Android 17, who was a human, by the way. They even gave them names, Lapis and Lazul. He was a
they're not androids, they're cyborgs.
Yeah, they're cyborgs, so they're enhanced humans. So how in the hell would you fuse a human with a random robot you made in hell, and it wouldn't be a living? I mean, just so much wrong with that. And then why would you? Okay, there's so many things wrong with that. Jiro is Jiro of Android in the afterlife? If he went to the afterlife, by the way, villains are supposed to keep their bodies, but whatever. If he's in the afterlife, how is he still a machine? And wouldn't he be a human or whatever? So the whole thing I felt was lame. And also, to top that all off, how in the world is Cooler and all these other characters that seem like they're not, non-canon, just showing up from hell when they were never in the series to begin with, that they're non-canon enemies in the first place? I think the weakest point, in my opinion, aside from Lost episodes, which I just find completely boring, is probably the Super 17 saga. It just felt like the whole thing was filler.
It was the shortest saga as well.
Oh, without a doubt, dude. Back when I was collecting, it was like two tapes, two VHSs. That's all it was. So, I mean, that's why you can fit, like, the Baby Saga is the first season of Dragon Ball GT, but everything else is the second season.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and Kel says, Frieza did. He kept his body in it. He kept his body. That's it. Right. And Frieza and all the other bad guys, the only time you see them keep their bodies was in filler. And that wasn't Z, and that was complete filler, and it was nonsense. I mean, to be honest, in terms of canon, Frieza has never been resurrected. He's been repaired once. Like, he was not, he wasn't resurrected, though. And that was the last we saw of him. So him coming back, I'm okay with that. So I guess this is
that was just a nod to the androids, I think.
Right, and I get that
Frieza was just foreshadowing.
Right, and it also makes you kind of wonder, like, isn't the technology of outer space like a lot? Shouldn't it be more advanced than ours? Like,
it should be.
Yeah, and So
like,
how could?
Why is an enhanced human infinitely more powerful than an enhanced alien that destroys planets? It doesn't really click.
They're hyping him up too. They're like, oh yeah, he's gonna be so much more powerful than ever. What? But like 1 million? I mean, that sounds like a big number, but to Frieza, that's not a big number. It's like, okay, I'm 0.5 more powerful than I was before. Thank you. Who cares?
Yeah. Pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, that's another issue I got with it. But that aside, again, I felt this was a good discussion, guys. Let's try to schedule another one. This was, I'm glad we finally addressed this one. Hopefully, some people want to ask more questions. 10 minutes. Yeah. But if you guys have any more questions, comments, that kind of good stuff, keep us posted. These usually don't just go. Like I try to aim these for somewhat like an hour, but really, I just try to get the point across, and I think we've really addressed that today. That again, these debates I have on here, there's no defined winner. That's up for the listener to
Nah, I won.
I won.
Up. Thomas, you scrub. I beat your ass, yo.
Ow.
Nah, I'm kidding.
Let's see. All right. But yeah, that was we got another post here. Man, we getting a lot of comments here. Give me 1 second. Keith Acton has a good argument here. Let me read it for you guys. He says, I would argue that the characters introduced in GT feel more consistent with the franchise. Rildo, with his various forms, fits right in with Z's Rogues Gallery. Even the thing with Baby and the Tuffles was a thoughtful addition to the universe. For Battle of Gods, Toriyama literally looked at his cat and said to himself, wouldn't it be fun for my kitty to beat up Goku? And thus the God characters were born. I'm not sure if I fully agree with that, but that's
that's
I really
terrible.
gotta get him back on another. I really gotta get Keith on one of these episodes again. He's a really good orator. Like I know that we only had an episode a long time ago, but he always has he's very articulate and funny with his points.
Yeah, yeah. I had a bit of a laugh when he was on.
Yeah, the Spider-Man thing. I love that.
Yeah.
But anyways, continuing on, I guess. Yes, all these next. Let's see. Oh yeah, Kel says, plus Frieza was made from spaceship parts. Look at him. Yeah, I guess it did. It did look at it. They're just like, oh, hey, we got these things laying around. Let's go pop them on the guy. We'll just say it makes him stronger. Whatever.
I honestly thought he was gonna be like insanely stronger because space stuff, right? But no, it was just like junk.
Right. It was just like, oh yeah, this guy just all right. Oh, one to go says Super Brute versus Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Just kidding.
Hey,
we all know how that's going to go, my friend.
Yeah.
I'm glad that all of us are on this. I disagree with our outcome.
Super Saiyan 3 Goku wins, of course.
Yeah. But there are people that actually think that, and maybe we should like catch one in the wild and put him on the show.
Wait, are we talking about GT Super Saiyan 3 Goku?
Wait, oh god.
Oh, that would be different. That'd be different. That would be very different. So I think for the next debate, I'm gonna try to have Mystic Gohan versus Super Saiyan 3 Goku in the Buu Saga. It's a hot topic. I think it's black and white, but we should probably address that one. I'm not sure if we should have two sides to it. To be honest, we should just probably get. Yeah, I don't think it's really worth having two sides. It's black and white. And Goku would
wins.
Get crushed by Mystic Gohan. Without a doubt. People always argue this stupid concept of, well, Goku's got more skill. When in Dragon Ball Z has skill ever determined a battle? It's always power levels. Every skill Goku has used has involved him increasing his power level to defeat his opponents.
Exactly.
Always power levels. Yeah. Always power levels.
Most particularly, look at the Vegeta fight when he first came to Earth.
Oh yeah.
He only stood a chance because of Kaioken.
Kel's brought up. He's asking when we guys will do it again. To be honest, I will announce the next date once we plan it out. The next episode we have two coming up. The number what's gonna be happening. I think Thursday is. I'm not sure yet, but I think Thursday is going to be Superman versus Goku. Jimmy Russell versus Chris Soto. We should have had it last week.
Are we buying tickets?
It's gonna be a showdown. These guys are. They will bump heads tremendously. It is going to be a really interesting debate. These dudes are more well-researched in Death Battle, in my opinion, by a good margin. But for both their respective sides, they have seen just about every argument. They have been in all the big debates you can think about these two, and they're gonna go at it. And then on top of that, we're probably gonna have a Super Saiyan 3 versus Mystic Gohan Buu Saga discussion, as we just brought up. But this is some big. We're gonna jump into
space ever.
Yeah, we're gonna have some big ones, and then we probably at some point are probably gonna get a not sure. This is like just another forecasting one. Kid Buu versus Super Buu is another big one.
Thank you.
Those are the three ones, and then I want to have a topic which is how powerful is Broly? Like really gauging where he is. Like that's another hot one. Like let's just.
I'm gonna tell you where Broly is. His power's maximum.
Oh yeah.
That's where he is.
Man.
Super Saiyan Devil. Who's ready?
Super Saiyan Devil.
It's back. Can't hide it.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks again for everyone who commented. This was a really fun time. As always, it's a pleasure talking to Tom and talking to Wes. And let's definitely keep having more of these. And thanks again for tuning in. And for those tuning into the podcast or watching the video non-live, thanks for checking the video out. If you like what you have seen, obviously, or heard, comment, subscribe, like the video, etc., etc. You know the drill. And stay tuned for our next few episodes. We're going to be addressing every annoying big debate that is in all of these groups at some point. So stay tuned. Thanks, guys.
Oh boy. See you later, guys.